And a very pleasant good evening, and we welcome you to Ventura College Women's Volleyball on the VC Sports Network tonight. The Pirates welcome in longtime rival, the Moorpark College Raiders. The Raiders come in with a record of 16-7 on the season. As we take a look at the standings, the Raiders perched right now in second place and looking to continue their 4-game win streak here tonight as they eye a tremendously important matchup next Wednesday night when they play host to Santa Barbara City College in a matchup of the top two in the Western State North. The Pirates, for their part, come in with a record of 11-7 on the season, currently in a tie for third in this powerhouse Western State North. They come in having won 3 straight, and thanks to a very high RPI ranking, the Pirates also in the top 25 in the 3C2A rankings, currently ranked 24th, but they enter a critical stretch in their schedule. Their next 3 matchups against the top 3 in the Western State North, matchups with the Raiders as well as with Santa Barbara and LA Mission over the next couple of weeks. That 3-game stretch could see the Pirates insert themselves into the championship race here in the Western State North, or it could leave them on a bubble of sorts, needing to take care of business in their final 3 games just to secure a postseason berth. So a lot on the line starting here tonight for the Pirates. It's another tremendous matchup in the Western State North. The Raiders and the Pirates coming up on the VC Sports Network. Ventura College Volleyball proudly sponsored by Pegasus Transit. At Pegasus Transit, we believe in going the extra mile to exceed your expectations. Our tailored transport solutions are designed with your comfort and convenience in mind. With our extensive fleet of over 60 vehicles and top-notch professional drivers, we can take you anywhere. From airport transport to corporate shuttles, we ensure a seamless journey from start to finish. Trust Pegasus Transport for unmatched transportation experience.
First, the visitors from Moorpark. Number 1, Mia Packer. Number 4, Natalia Jackson. Number 7, Hilder Valley Taylor. Number 11, outsider Judah Washington. Number 14, Kelsey Rock. Number 15, outsider Sune Martino. Number 17, outsider Bailey Carter. Number 18, setter Bailey Society. Number 25, assistant coaches Aaron Henley, Brooke Walker, and Aaron Rogers. And now, the starting line for your Ventura College Pirates. Number 5, from Penn High School, Woodhill, Mira Boyko. Ladies and number 8, from Westlake High School, Monet Ramazan. From Penn High School, outside hitter number 10, Josephine Rao. From Southern High School, in the middle, number 11, Taylor. From High School, Libero, number 15, John Daniels. From Ventura High School, a middle and opposite, number 17, Daphne Raymond. From Bakersfield High School, middle hitter, number 21, Allison Olsen. Head coach of the Pirates, Mr. Brad Lyons, assistant coaches, Samantha Felico and Jill Hall. Tonight's officials, Roberta Becker, Carl Whiteheart, scorekeeper, Tony Ventura, working line.
Second matchup on the season between the two teams. They met back on October 1st, and it was a straight sets win for the Raiders at Moorpark. But that was a fascinating matchup, and for the Pirates, it's a what might have been. They had leads in all 3 sets, leading 17-9 in the first set, 18-11 in the second, and 16-11 in the third set, but couldn't close out a single set at Moorpark. The Raiders able to come back and gain that victory, but this will be an interesting litmus test for the Pirates here tonight. This is a young team, particularly at the setter spot, and they have continued to grow throughout the season, been working very hard. Brad Lyons extremely pleased with how things are coming together as the Pirates come in, having won their last 3, each of those 3 wins in straight sets, and now they enter this gauntlet in their schedule against the top 3 teams in the Western State North. How far have the Pirates come along? Can they close out some sets here tonight? If given the opportunity, that's what we're going to find out as we get set to go. The Pirates in the home orange jerseys as Shy Daniels will check in at that libero spot. To start things off, it'll be Sadie Lishman to serve first for the Pirates. The Raiders in the familiar powder blue jerseys here on the road. Moments away, a matchup of top 25 teams in this powerhouse Western State North. Pirates and the Raiders getting set to go. So Lishman will serve. In the back with Shy Daniels, the returning sophomore, Monet Ramasar, who will split time at that setter spot. The Pirates operating out of the 6-2 with Ramasar and Valeria Ibarra at that setter spot. Again, a couple of freshmen pressed into extended duty after the Pirates were once again left scrambling with some injuries at that setter spot coming into the season. And so Ramasar and Ibarra have both been pressed into duty and have performed exceptionally well as freshmen with this very experienced hitting squad around them. A lot of returning sophomores, players like Daphne Raymond, as well as Josephine Rausch really leading the way at those attacking spots, and they are returning sophomores, each of them. So these young freshman setters have had to learn to set, and the experienced attackers having to get used to some balls coming at them a little different way than they are accustomed to, and thus the growing pains for the Pirates in this 2025 campaign that sees them 11-7, but looking to come together here in conference play and get ready for another postseason berth. Again, the Pirates with the strength of that outstanding RPI, very much on the inside for a playoff spot despite being fourth. Actually technically tied for third in the Western State North, but on a tiebreaker with a loss earlier to LA Mission. They are fourth, but in this power conference, that easily figures to be good enough to make the postseason, but of course a lot of volleyball still to be played. Getting set to go. Raiders, another outstanding season under longtime head coach Adam Black, and they are currently second, 16 wins on the season and well on their way to another postseason berth. Lishman will serve. And a joust ball right off the bat, won by Raymond. So the Pirates grab the quick 1-0 lead, and we are underway, set number one. The Raiders and the Pirates here on the VC Sports Network. Lishman again on serve and some trouble handling the serve. Lishman getting the Pirates off to the quick start. 2 straight. Looked like Mia Paculan. Back there on serve receive. Well, Lishman's moved it around on the first couple of serves, gone back right, back middle. Now they will go to Paculan again, this one handled. And the first swing on the attack and an initial block, but it's down for Judah Washington. Getting the Raiders on the board, and that will send Paculan on serve. Mia Paculan, the sophomore libero out of Thousand Oaks, will serve. Handled by Daniels. Off on the set, and Raymond just has to push it over. Back row attack coming in the top of the tape, and a 3-1 lead for the Pirates. So both teams out of system on initial attacks. That one goes to the Pirates. They have the 3-1 lead. Both these teams spread it around on the attack. The top 5 attackers on the season for the Raiders, all within 1 kill per set, laying out to keep that one up. It's Ramasar, and now the soft touch for Josephine Rausch. And a 4-1 lead for the Pirates. So Rausch taking a little something off. Rausch, a returning sophomore, the leading attacker for the Pirates, returning after ankle surgery and cut her beach season short last season. The touch from Washington into the top of the tape, and the Pirates pushed the lead to 5-1. But interesting, talking to Brad Lyons about Josephine Rausch, said that she tried to make a go of it last year, wanting to be part of the beach season, but ultimately the ankle giving her too much trouble, and she elected to cut the season short and go for the ankle surgery. But since she has rehabbed, another great serve pushes the lead to 6-1. Does Adam Black think about an early timeout? He is going to take one. Let's stay here very quickly and talk a little bit about Josephine Rausch, but Brad Lyons talking about rehabbing so well from the ankle surgery that she's actually jumping higher and hitting the ball higher, or I should say harder, this season since coming back from the ankle surgery. The Pirates with the early 6-1 lead here on the VC Sports Network. Fast start for the Pirates in what is looking to be something of a pattern between these two teams on the season, as again, they grab the early lead, 6-1, but a long way to go in set number 1. The back set and a big swing, and the finish for Haley Byron. I mentioned briefly that both these teams really will spread it around. The top 5 attackers for the Raiders, all within roughly 1 kill per set as an average on the season. So Dalen Psyche, who handles the setting duties for the Raiders, does a great job of spreading it around. Tooling the block, Roush pushes the lead to 7-2. Quick side out for the Pirates. The Pirates, for their part, their top 4 also well within a kill per set on average. So both these teams don't necessarily look for one arm to handle a lot of the attacking duty. They will move it around. 7-2. Diving serve, Paquilin down to get it, middle attack, and it's up. The set will come from Lishman. Roush having to adjust. Just takes a little off. The slide from the back row is down. Kaylin Curry. This is a great adjustment from Kaylin Curry. Let's watch here very quickly. And watch again. Raiders appear to be struggling getting into system, but Curry bailing them out. We bring you back live. And Roush, what an up. Raiders still going. Daniels can't corral it. Well, the first point of some length. And I believe that was Curry with the dig in the back row. Just a spectacular up to continue that point. And the Raiders take advantage, 7-4. Daniels, good serve receive. That sets up the middle attack, but Olsen denied. Back on the attack are the Raiders. Daniels, third in the 3C2A in digs per set. Keeps that one up, and that one off the block is down. Pirates quell the Raider run. Lead back to 4 at 8-4. Set number 1. Raiders and Pirates, the VC Sports Network. Curry with some trouble, but now on the attack, Daniels. Another good read. Slowed by the block. It's a good read on the attack from Campisi. Cahill off the block, still going. Campisi denied. Kept up by Stankovic. They'll try Campisi. She rolls. Daniels is there. Cahill, flat-footed, just has to arc for the back row. And Stankovic on the attack. What a point. Pirates finally take it down on the block by Madison Mirau on a set that looked a little off for Callie Stankovic, who had a huge performance in the first matchup between these two teams back on October 1st. 7 kills without an error for Stankovic in the straight set win. Psyche looking for the setter dump. Instead, the push off the block. Mirau with the heady play. Pushing it off the block, 10-4. The Pirate lead back to 6. This equals their largest. Josephine Roush on serve, and it floats just long. (10-5). Pirate lead is 5. Stankovic to serve. Daniels laying out. They'll look for Cahill off the block. It's still up. Campisi. Well long. Good read from Daniels. 11-5. Brad Lyons, Sam Callisto talking to their team, and They've got to like where they are right now. Float serve, it's up. But the attack comes from well back. That allows Roush to get there. Cahill reaching back. Curry with the dig. Campese. Paculan there. Good read from Roush. Up the line. Mirau. And the Pirates continuing their strong first set. They take the longer point. Both teams with a couple of chances, and it's Mirau that ultimately closes the door. Psyche will look for Campese again. Off the block. Stankovic keeps it up. Just long, but off the block. Well, that was a busy run as Curry checks out. And Dalen Psyche will serve. Just a freshman from Camarillo, and the serve into the net. Pirates back up 7 at 13-6. Momasar will come in, replacing Cahill. Raymond also on, so Raymond coming in for Cahill at that opposite spot. Trouble on serve receive, and Paculan has to send it across, and decidedly out of system. Raiders struggling here in this opening set as Haley Byron couldn't get a clean strike. 14-6. The Pirates have once again staked themselves to a lead. And the serve floats long. I'll talk to Brad Lyons naturally about what will be the key for the Pirates if they can get themselves in position again to close out sets when they get the opportunity. And Brad Lyons saying, no, we just have to continue to make good decisions. We're putting ourselves in position. But you have to stay focused, close it out. Felt they were hurt by maybe rushing a little bit at Moorpark. Raymond goes to the dink, finds the floor, 15-7. And Daphne Raymond, who has continued to step it up as a sophomore. In the words of Brad Lyons, becoming a problem. And he's not talking about for the Pirates. Off the block. Lishman there. Omasar will look for Raymond. Raiders back on the attack. Off the block. So Judah Washington tonight on the attack. 16-7. Haven't seen Janessa Johnson here in this first set. One of the leading attackers for the Raiders. Instead, it's been a long run for the freshman Judah Washington. Psyche will look for Byron. Omasar there. Going to the middle. That time Psyche getting to the dink. Washington gathers up off the block. Judah Washington tooling the block. 16-8. The Pirates nonetheless with the 8-point lead. Stankovic returns on the front line with Washington and Haley Byron as Paculan will serve. Lishman fights it off. Raymond catching the tape. Raiders looking for a run. 2 straight. 16-9. Paculin to continue on serve, floating long. Well, certainly when you dig yourself a hole, as the Raiders have done, you can ill afford those kinds of errors, as Paculin looking for that back line. Floats it long. The Pirates will take it. 17-9, and Shy Daniels, the standout sophomore to serve. Daniels, an outside hitter a year ago, and started there this year before moving to libero. Roush has that one denied. The roof for Byron. 17-10. Raiders back within 7. As Kaylin Curry returns and will serve. Daniels embraced the opportunity to move to libero, as she has made the decision to move forward exclusively with beach volleyball after an outstanding season a year ago. Brad Lyons telling us her heart's in the sand. Raymond tooling the block. 18-10. So Daniels recognizing the opportunity that comes with that libero spot, and she has not only embraced it, but she has been outstanding. Talked about third in the entire 3C2A in digs per set. In fact, she's coming off an otherworldly 25 digs in the win against Cuesta on Wednesday night. That in just 3 sets. That's just an insane total. The push from Washington is down. 18-11, the Pirates maintain the 7-point lead. Checking out is Makino, and we'll see Semi Neem. And Neem will serve. But you have the sense that this experience at that libero spot is only going to help Daniels, who had a fantastic season during the beach season a year ago. And we'll have more experience now. And the one-timer from Psyche this time is down. Here come the Raiders. Still down 6, but trying to chip away at a deficit that has been as big as 9. Neem will continue on serve. Daniels there. And Olsen with the partial whiff on what looked to be a good set, though she was well off the net. 18-13. Olsen struggled in the first matchup between these two teams with just 1 kill against 3 errors, but is coming off one of her strongest performances of the entire year in the win against Cuesta with 8 kills against just 1 error. Gets another chance here and delivers. 19-13. Cahill on in the front. And once again, Roush back to serve. Pirates on top, 19-13. About 10 feet back off the tape. That gives Daniels plenty of time. Mirau gathers off the block. They'll try again. Kept up. Psyche will set up the line. That looked like Neem moving up. And now on to serve is Stankovic. Raiders within 5. Floating and long. Another serve error. The first matchup between the two teams, so close. Despite being straight sets, 2 of the sets 25-23, the other one 25-21. So all 3 sets were close. And you look at the stats, and not surprisingly, they were pretty close across the board. The joust ball floating wide, and the point going to belong to the Raiders. In fact, when you look closely at the numbers, the errors, 24 for the Pirates, 16 for the Raiders, might tell the story as much as any stat in the matchup. The rest that close, but perhaps the 8 points there really represent the difference in an incredibly close matchup. Daniels with a little trouble on receive. The attack will come from the back. Kept up by Paquilin. Psyche just has to reset. Now Mirau. The dig for Paquilin. Byron might have taken a little something off. And Brad Lyons going to take a timeout. The Raiders have crept back within 4, 20-16. Here in set number 1. It's Ventura College Volleyball on the VC Sports Network. Pirate lead was once 9 at 16-7, but it's a 9-4 run to get the Raiders to within 4. And the Pirates trying to perhaps keep thoughts of October 1st out of their heads, as again they're in position trying to close out the Raiders, kept up by Byron, who will give up the free ball. Chance for the Pirates back on the attack in the middle. Lane gets the kill. And for Lane, who has struggled at times, making the adjustment with new setters to work with in her sophomore season, as Brad Lyons pointed out, never stopped working. And she has been tireless, trying to find the synergy with the young setters. And that time on a perfect set with the crush ball, 21-16, big point for the Pirates. Now some trouble on serve receive. Pirates with a big 2-point response. 22-16, and now the Raiders. Adam Black gonna burn a timeout. Pirates back up 6, set number 1 on the VC Sports Network. Pirates now 3 points away. Here in set number 1, big response after the Raiders got within 4. Pirates have come out, pushed the lead back to 6. Roush will dig it out, try the dink once again. Pancake from Paquilin. All the way across, Pirates switching the attack. Madison Mirau. Well, we talked about Shy Daniels making the move to libero. That opened up a spot for Mirau to move into a much bigger role, stepping in to that outside hitter spot as Daniels moves exclusively to the back row. And Mirau has met the challenge. Daniels with the dig. They'll try Mirau again. On the roll, kept up by Neems. Setter dump is down for Psyche. 23-17. The Pirates still 2 points away. Raiders out of timeouts. Pirates still with one. And Makino on serve. Natsune Makino. Out of Shimashi, Japan. The push is up for Psyche. Pakulan will work it across. Roush there. Back to the dink. Good read from Pakulan. Byron. Raymond there. Mirau leans into one off the block. Misconnection opens up an opportunity for Raymond. Raiders are scrambling. They're not going to get there. Set point for the Pirates. Well, it started for the Raiders on a misconnection. Psyche trying to set LaRock, and Raymond on the first touch back over, and the Raiders can't recover. Might have been off the tape. Now they're going to say it's off the block. We're still playing. And tooling the block. Judah Washington keeps the Raiders alive, 24-18. Pirates still looking for one more to take their first set on the season here against the Raiders. Pakulan to serve with the floater. And Roush off the block and wide. The Pirates have got it. Set number one to the Pirates, 25-18. They'll change ends. We'll be back for set two. It's Ventura College Volleyball on the VC Sports Network. Well, you have to imagine that's exactly what Brad Lyons is looking for from his team here in the rematch with the Raiders as they take set number one, 25-18. They jump out to the big lead, but this time they stay cool and collected and finish the job despite the Raiders at one point creeping back within 4 and threatening to make a run. But the Pirates respond. A 5-2 run after a Brad Lyons timeout. And they close out the first set 25-18. The Raiders will start the second set with Sammy Neem to serve. And they will have to bounce back as the Pirates grab a 1-0 lead. So Neem on serve. And the Pirates, good job spreading it around in that first set. Mirau with a couple of big kills, and Roush. Lane, who starts the second set on the floor, came up with a big kill to stop that Raider run that had seen them pull within 4. And of course, Shai Daniels outstanding on the back row once again. Huge extending points, and especially as Washington puts that one in front of Lishman to tie it at 1. But one thing that we didn't talk a lot about in the first set, but I think was key, was Daniels on serve receive, keeping the Pirates much more in system in that first set than the Raiders, and that might have been the difference. Another good job, allows the middle attack, but Olsen catches the tape, and the Raiders pull in front 2-1. Early stages, set number 2. Paquillan on serve, floating and long, another good read from Shai Daniels, watches that one sail just long. Cahill on with Ibarra. So the Pirates working out of the 6-2. Ibarra on. Ibarra and Momisar combining for 35 assists in a straight sets win against Cuesta on Wednesday night. And again, talking about a couple of freshmen really pressed into duty. In fact, Ibarra, as the Pirates cannot keep that one alive. Ibarra, an interesting story, recruited by Brad Lyons, but as a DS. And he was envisioning Valeria coming in, operating on that back line at that DS spot, but went to a club match to take a look at Ibarra and saw her setting. And the light bulbs went off. The Pirates in need of some help at that setter spot. And Ibarra, who had not set since earlier on in high school, so it had been several months, if not going on better than a year, since she had set a ball. Nonetheless, had to quickly try to shake off the rust as she stepped into a setter spot. And there's one other player that we haven't talked about, as another serve floats long, and serve errors have been a definite storyline, particularly for the Raiders, and not a good one. As again, another serve error puts the Pirates back within 1. And we haven't had a lot of chance to talk about Presley Bollinger, but Presley Bollinger also at that setter spot, and hasn't seen as much time on the court, but has been huge, helping this team prepare in practices as well. And Brad Lyons talking about that, you know, Presley is absolutely in the mix as well at that setter spot. The attack sent long, tied at 4, the Pirates, after briefly being down 2. Now tie it up. So Presley Bollinger down from Bakersfield, part of 3 freshman setters, and it'll be interesting moving forward, not just for the rest of this year, but looking ahead to next year. Where does it go for the Pirates at that crowded setter position? Paquillan with trouble on serve receive. It's kept up by Curry. Free ball for the Pirates. Ibarra, a little bit offline. Paculon just gets a hand on it. Another free ball. Ibarra looking for Miro. Paculon with the dig. Third free ball for the Pirates. Cahill with the crush ball. Pirates outlasting the Raiders on a lengthy point, 5-4. 3-point run for the Pirates, a 5-4 lead. Ibarra finding Cahill. Cahill also struggled in the first matchup between these two teams, attacking at a negative percentage, but has bounced back nicely here tonight with a couple of kills early on. Pirates overall decidedly more efficient. Washington rejected on the first effort. Roush keeps that one up. The attack in the middle. Paculon again down, but this one gonna float just long. The run continues for the Pirates. Boy, a couple of sensational digs for Mia Paculon, but not a lot to show for it for the Raiders. A 6-4 lead, the Pirates out in front here in set 2. Josephine Roush on serve. Pirate confidence starting to swell off that set 1 win. Now they have the lead, but the quick set in the middle. Callie Stankovic and the Raiders very much in system on that point, and they get it to Stankovic, and that was a staple in the win on October 1st, where Stankovic had 7 kills. 6-5. Raiders end the 4-point run for the Pirates, still down 1. Makino on serve. (6-5). Little miscommunication, Roush and Daniels, but it's still up. Rolled for the back row. Curry keeps it alive and tooling the block. That time it was Dalen Psyche electing to handle things herself. Second kill for Psyche. Had one in the first set that I recall as well. Big hit from Miro. Puts the Pirates back out in front. And Addison Olsen on to serve for the Pirates. Psyche cross court gets it down. Ties it at 7. Well, Psyche really handles the lion's share of the duties at the center spot, but that's a couple of straight attacks from Psyche, and I think she's outside right now, working as an attacker and not on the same page on the set. Miro can't even muster up a free ball. Ibarra setting that one a little off the net. And Miro clearly not expecting that. 8-7. Raiders back in front. Roush on receive now, 10 feet back. And arcs that one just long. 9-7. Raiders on a 5-1 run. Stankovic on serve. Just in front, and Roush has that one dive in front. 10-7. The run continues for Stankovic. Momasar will return, replacing Cahill. Roush better on serve receive. Miro going up the line. Lane with the one-timer and the dig. Now the Raiders on the attack off the block of Momasar. Raymond from the back row, kept up by Lane. Raymond once again crawls over, but it's still up. Campese just has to roll for the back row. Setter dump from Momasar. Psyche to the dink. Pirates still going. Free ball, and now the whistle comes in. Illegal touch from Raymond. Pirate deficit now 4. A 7-1 run for the Raiders, and the Pirates going to take a timeout. Raiders on top, 11-7, set 2, the Pirates up a set here on the VC Sports Network. Well, perhaps for the first time tonight, Raiders seem to have found something. A 7-1 run, and they're up 4, 11-7. And the serve floats long, and that continues to be something of a lifeline for the Pirates here tonight. Another error on serve. Pirates pick up the quick point. And now Momasar to serve, with the Pirates back within 3. 11-8. Paquillan, good job on receive. Psyche, just long. 11-9. Dalen Psyche, who's had a couple of kills, moving outside here in this second set, but that time fires long. Pirates back within 2. 11-9. Played by Makino, and Campese gets it down just in front of Daniels. Well, it starts with Makino, and a good job handling the serve. Eventually finding Campese. 12-9. Dalen Psyche to serve. Daniels down to get it. Momasar scrambling, as are the Pirates. Makino there. Campese going up the line. What a sensational up from Momasar. But the Pirates can't corral it. 13-9, back-to-back kills for Campese. And the Raiders back in front by 4. Psyche to serve. Roush. Good job on receive. Raymond. It's a heady play from Raymond. Sees the open floor as Sadie Lishman will check in to serve. Let's take a quick look going back to the finish by Raymond off the good serve receive. Well, not sure if she took a little something off or might have just not gotten all of that one. Either way, it ends in a perfect spot. Byron leans into one off the block and off the net. Lane can't keep it up. 14-10. Raiders still up 4. Neem will come on to serve. So Momasar Trying to pump up her teammates as Neem readies the serve. Floats for Lishman. They'll look for Raymond. Psyche with the dig. And Byron looking to take a little something off. Instead finds the net, 14-11. Shy Daniels will serve. Daniels ready. Long run for Psyche. That one kept up. Raiders still scrambling. Washington unable to send that one over. So Roush gets enough weight on that ball to get the Raiders out of system. 14-12. Pirates back within 2. Daniels on serve. Washington down to get it. Chance for the Pirates. They look in the middle. Olsen denied. Washington off the block, still up. The back set for Raymond. Off the block of Washington. At the denial from Roush and Olsen. I believe it was Olsen moving over. And the Pirates within 1. And Addison Olsen coming up with the big block to get the Pirates within 1, 14-13 in set 2. Ventura College Volleyball here on the VC Sports Network. Three-point run for the Pirates. Back within 1 at 14-13, trying to turn the tables on the Raiders and come back from a deficit themselves. Long way to go in set 2. Shy Daniels on serve, floating just long. A rare error on serve for the Pirates here tonight. In fact, it might be their first. That ends the run for the Pirates. Mia Paculan to serve, 15-13. Floats for Daniels. Omasar will track it down. Roush able to tool the block. 15-14 on the power ball from Josephine Roush. Cahill returning on the front line along with Valeria Ibarra. So Ibarra with Lishman and Daniels in the back. Olsen, Roush, and Cahill up front for the Pirates. Quick set in the middle, and Stankovic able to redirect off the block, 16-14. Good execution from the Raiders. Curry on to serve. They've got Psyche with Washington and Stankovic up front. Kept alive by Ibarra, but a chance for the Raiders off the free ball. Washington 10 feet back, blocked momentarily but down. Olsen, Cahill there. Hands on it, but couldn't keep it up. Curry to continue, 17-14. Handled nicely by Daniels. Roush. Paculan digs it out. Washington off the block. Here come the Pirates. Back to Roush, tooling the block. And down. Another kill for Roush. Roush had a big performance in the first matchup with these two teams, 17 kills, along with 12 digs, hitting at nearly 300 for the Pirates, who hit at just 111 overall in the matchup. So Roush was the one offensive option that did seem to be there for the Pirates in that first matchup. And again here tonight, 17-15, especially in the second set, just wide on serve for Roush. A couple of serve errors now for the Pirates here in set 2. And the Raiders back up 3 at 18-15. That'll bring on Natsuna Makino. And Makino to serve for the Raiders. Daniels there. Middle set. Olsen dug out by Curry. Campese tooling the block, 19-15. Sophomore Olivia Campese getting a lot of work here tonight. We saw a lot of Campese in that first set as well, 19-15. She's warming to the task. Roush on serve received. A look for Cahill off the block. Callie Cahill delivers for the Pirates, who need a run. Running out of time here in set 2. Down 19-16. And now Addison Olsen back to serve for the Pirates. Psyche to the dink. And Dalen Psyche finding the open floor. Roush closing but can't get there. Slow to get up, but Josephine Roush is up. And Roush, one of the Pirate players that does the full rotation. Front row and back row stand out in all phases for the Pirates. And we'll step aside, brief injury timeout as they talk to Josephine Roush. Raiders on top 20-16. Pirates up a set here on the VC Sports Network. And Roush going to stay out there with the Raiders up 20-16. And Callie Stankovic to serve. Off the block, Daniels keeps it up. Cahill. Aquino there. Campese. Mirau, and now Cahill 10 feet back. Curry with the dig, now Psyche. Just has to set and roll it to the back row. Off the block once again. Psyche trying to play it off the block, but down. What a point for the Pirates. Lane moving over, and 4 hands for Psyche to deal with. 20-17. And on to serve is Momasar. Well, the Pirates have acquitted themselves well in the lengthy points. here tonight with a Raider team that is obviously among the most talented and well-coached that you're going to find in the 3C2A. Campese from the back row, Daniels with the dig. Raymond just has to set, and again, similar to the first set, where Raymond again was called for what appeared to be an illegal touch as she attempts to just push it over and give up the free ball. But that's been called twice, and we're assuming that's what it is. Comes in just after the touch from Raymond. Pirates out of system. To the back for Mirau. Campese. Nice job on the block from Lane. Raymond tooling the block. Daniels does keep it up. Still up by Mirau. Raymond. Joust ball and finished off. Kelsey Larocque. And Larocque at 6 feet, almost flat-footed. Able to come up with a big kill to push the Raider lead to 5, 22-17, late second set. With the Pirates up a set. It's Ventura College Volleyball, the VC Sports Network. Good response from the Raiders here in this second set, particularly in the later stages. The Pirates are trying to claw their way back into it, but the Raiders now back up 5, just 3 points away from evening things at a set apiece. Daniels handles the serve. Mirau off the block. Still up for the Raiders. Byron for the corner. And it is down. Byron finds the corner. 23-17. Raiders creeping a little closer. And now Daniels with trouble on serve receive. She will check out. Bera Boiso on for the Pirates as the Raiders now with a handful of set points at 24-17. Just long. Boiso lets it go. Pirates still alive for the moment. Daniels will return. 24-18. And Sadie Lishman will serve for the Pirates. Float from Lishman, a little trouble. Paculon all the way back to get it. Byron from the back. The overpass for Lishman. And the Raiders close it out. 25-18 in set number 2. All even at a set apiece. The Pirates and the Raiders on the VC Sports Network. Well, you literally can't get any closer. A set apiece, each set 25-18. So the points, literally all even. And despite the first matchup being a straight sets win for Moorpark, a continuation of the overall trend between these two teams here in 2025. As I think there can be little doubt that the first matchup between the two teams was relatively even on many scores as well. The Raiders just a little bit better in the later stages in each set, closing it out. And now back to a set apiece as we get ready to start set 3. The Pirates and the Raiders from Ventura College here on the VC Sports Network. And Sadie Lishman will start on serve. Pirates will begin up front with Raymond, Lane, and Roush. Momasar, Daniels, and Lishman to serve to start set 3. Paculon. Psyche works it across to Washington, who tools the block. And I tell you, you got to give a lot of credit to young Judah Washington. The freshman, something of a struggle early on in this one, but picked it up in set 2 and now gets set 3 started with a quick kill. Roush with the push, kept up by Neem. Byron. And the illegal touch, this time for Haley Byron, evens it up at 1 apiece. Olsen on replacing Lane as Shy Daniels will serve. 1-all. Diving in front, but kept up. Down to get it is Lishman. Roush off the block. Paculon will look for Washington, leaning in, and Daniels, Momasar converging but can't get there. 2-1. Raiders in front, Curry on for Byron, and Kaylin Curry, the freshman from just down the road in Moorpark, staying close to home. Joust ball sent over by Roush, but kept up. And another call on the push from Washington. And I think it's clear at this point that that is going to be called closely. Pirates already the beneficiary here in set 3 of a couple of calls on that score. First Byron, now Washington. We're tied at 2 as Ibarra on to serve for the Pirates. Floating and long. 3-2. Aquino and Campisi on for the Raiders. Daniels handles it well. Looking for the corner, and Olsen, I believe, got it. And did. Olsen paints the line. Tied at 3. Olsen, an interesting story as well. Recruited a year ago at Ventura and had a great visit. Was all set to come and play here for the Pirates as Stankovic gets it down 4-3. But then made the last second decision as she got a call from Cal State Bakersfield. They were interested in having her come out and walk on to the team and wanted to give that a try. And so that is where Olsen went. And it would appear that that was going to be the end of the story here at Ventura, but after trying that for a year, Roush off the block, ties it at 4. Addison Olson deciding that wasn't a fit, didn't want to stay at Cal State Bakersfield, and Brad Lyons telling the story that they were at the Pirate banquet at the tail end of last season, and it was literally there that they got the text from Addison Olson saying that she was interested in seeing if there was still an opportunity to come back and play at Ventura. Brad Lyons saying that was a nice early Christmas present, getting Olson back in the fold, and so she returns here to the Pirates in 2025. Let's correct the score. It's 6-3. The Raiders with the lead. Stankovic on serve. Daniels, good job on the pass. That sets the middle for Olson. Well, you can't do it a whole lot better for the Pirates, starting with a great serve receive from Shai Daniels, and Olson not missing. 6-4. Curry setting up Psyche, and this one's still going. So Cahill sends it over. They look in the middle. I thought Cahill got a hand on that one. She thinks so too. I'll tell you, I thought she got her hand under there. Byron back on for the Raiders, who are up 7-4. Let's watch the tail end here. We are going to bring you back live. Boy, I'll tell you. Unless they're going to somehow say that that got some of the hand and some of the floor. 8-4. The Raiders, meanwhile, did push the lead to 4. Looking for Mirau. And how about Roush? Rolling for the back row, finding a great spot. Pirates needed it, down 4 early in the third set. That gets them back within 3 at 8-5. Momisar on to serve. But the Pirates scrambling, bailed out by Josephine Roush. Flat-footed, rolling for the back row, and finds the open floor. Miscommunication on the set. Coming from the back row now, Raymond with a chance to the dink. Paculon got a hand under. Free ball for the Pirates. All the way across. Mirau. Too much air for Madison Mirau. 9-5. See if Brad Lyons thinks about a timeout. The Pirates still have them both. Of course, you get just 2 in a set. 9-5. It's not so much the score for the Pirates. Still got a lot of time, but Raymond settles things. 9-6. Now the Pirates appear to be somewhat out of sorts. But when that happens, it always helps to go to an experienced leader. And they find Daphne Raymond. Gets the kill. 9-6. Psyche will look for Washington. Off the block. Roush off a great set. 9-7. Pirates creep back within 2. Josephine Roush. Big swing from Roush off the great set. Lishman to serve. Neem handles it. And now Momisar with the partial whiff, trying to keep that one up. 10-7. That ends the short Pirate run. They got back within 2. It's 10-7. Paquilon on serve. Daniels with some trouble, kept up by Raymond. Now the Raiders are scrambling as Psyche has to keep it up. Joust ball is down. Lane will get credit for the kill. So 6'1" Taylor Lane winning the joust. Gets that one down, 10-8. Pirates creep back within 2. Daniels off the tape. Washington down to get it. But Byron and Paquilon, some miscommunication in that Raider back row. 10-9. Pirates still down 1. Shy Daniels on serve. Paquilon, Washington catches the tape. And now it's the Raiders reeling somewhat, as the Pirates on a 5-1 run have erased the 4-point deficit. We're all even at 10. Daniels to serve. Neem, they'll find Byron. Daniels somehow keeps it up, but the one-timer, believe it was Stankovic after Daniels made the circus dig, but it did open up the opportunity for the first touch for Stankovic, who does get it down. Raiders back in front. Momasar will look for Roush. Another great set, and Roush with the crush ball ties it at 11. I'll tell you, with the likes, Josephine Roush, when the sets are there, good luck. Ibarra to serve, tied at 11. Floats for Paquilon. Curry, it's Psyche trying to cut that one across, and the Pirates nose out in front after trailing for the great majority of this third set. They now lead at 12-11. Well, that is a great response from this Pirate team without the benefit of a timeout. Just had to figure it out themselves, and they've done it. Now Ibarra will serve. Quick set in the middle, and the dink continues to be there for the Raiders and Stankovic. Well sold by Callie Stankovic. Tied at 12 as Makino will come on to serve. Replacing Neem in the back row. So Paquilon, Curry, Makino in the back row for the Raiders. Daniels handles the serve. They work it to the middle with Olsen. Chance for Campisi. Off the block. Now Daniels sends it back. Back to Campisi, who just has to go to the left hand. Lishman rather can't keep it up. That's a great adjustment in the air from Campisi. Raiders back in front 13-12. All important third set. Tied at a set apiece. Ibarra. Off of Ibarra. There was a chance for Jocelyn Alfar, who's checked on for a brief stint, 14-12. And Makino will serve. Still work on the floor. So Alfar now in the back with Lishman and Daniels. First appearance for Alfar, and it comes in set 3. Let's see if Makino sends the serve that way. No, it's going to be Daniels. Chased down by Ibarra. Now Alfaro just has to try to go to the backhand and flip that one over. Pirates scrambling. Raiders back out in front, 15-12, timeout on the floor. We're in the third set with the Raiders leading at 15-12. It's Ventura College Volleyball on the VC Sports Network. Four straight for the Raiders after the Pirates briefly took a lead at 12-11 here in the third set. Ibarra looking for Alfar. Paquillan with the dig. Psyche, the rejection from Alfar. Off the block, still going. Roush looking for the back row. Makino with the dig. Campese, but Paquillan there. Daniels, they'll go back to Roush, but the call on the swing from Roush. 16-12, might have been on the set, although the whistle came in on the strike from Roush. 5 unanswered for the Raiders. A good response from the Raiders when they could have perhaps been a little rattled. Daniels. Setter dump from Ibarra, and the call going to come in. It's going to be another point for the Raiders, and again, they're going to catch Ibarra this time on the illegal touch. 17-12. The Raiders starting to pull away here in the third set, and not a lot of time for the Pirates. Down 17-12. Well, this is what you so often see in any sport. Amongst the top teams, they just make you play at a certain level for so long. And the Pirates, after being down early in this third set, battled, got themselves back in the lead, but the Raiders, no fall off in their level, and immediately responded with a 6-point run to reassert control here in this third set. They're up 17-13 with Roush to serve. Paquillan off the net and down. Strong serve from Roush. 17-14. Pirates looking for a run of their own. They've got a couple to get back within 3. Roush will look to continue. Campese will get it back. And Olsen with the big block. (17-15). Got the line. The ace for Roush. 4-0 run for the Pirates, and now the Raiders. Adam Black going to burn a timeout. Third set, 17-16 Raiders on top, all even at a set apiece on the VC Sports Network. Back and forth in this third set. 6 points for the Raiders, and immediately Pirates, 4 of them back to get back within 1. Roush to continue on serve. Again, looking to Campese. Good read. It's still up for Mirau. Roush from the back. Makino with the dig. Now Psyche going to the dink and just inside the line. Well, it continues to be a weapon across the board for the Raiders. Great job selling it by Dalen Psyche, a freshman from Camarillo. And just inside the line, 18-16. Overpass. Kept up by Mirau, but the Pirates scrambling and can't get it over. 19-16. Pirates have been solid on serve receive for the most part tonight, but a struggle there. 19-16. Both teams with a timeout remaining. Stankovic into the net on serve. The Raiders have been decidedly better limiting serve errors in this third set. But that one pulls the Pirates back within 2. Mirau on serve. Curry will set. Big swing from Psyche, but Ibarra will get there. Roush will give up the free ball. Quick set in the middle. How far is there? Now they'll try Lane. Kept up by Curry. Lane gets a hand on it. And reaching back, Mirau couldn't quite square it up. Both teams with chances, but the point goes to the Raiders, 20-17. Moorpark back up 3 with Dalen Psyche to serve. And the big block from Byron, denying Mirau, who had a couple of chances, but the Raiders standing up, back up 4, 21-17 in the third set on the VC Sports Network. Pirates down 4. in the third set. 21-17. Led briefly earlier in the third set, but for the most part have been working from a deficit. And now down 4 as Psyche will continue on serve. Daniels just has to fight it off. Now Mirau kept up off the block. They'll look for Campisi. Daniels there. Ibarra. Alfar off the block. Middle set. Roush with the dig. What a job. Makino laying out. And Campisi again finding the open floor. Great presence from Campisi. Watching as Lane slid over to help on the block, sees the middle open up, and able to just redirect to the open floor. 22-17 in a set of runs. The Raiders with the last one, at least thus far. Trying to close it out. And the hard serve to Daniels, who can't find the handle. And now Dalen Psyche has the Raiders 2 points away from a 2-1 lead. Right back to Daniels. Chance for the Pirates, but Lane might have mistimed the jump. Point still going. Byron off the hands. It looked like Lane on the block. And that redirected it just enough that the Pirates can't get there. And after the Pirates got back within 2, an 8-3 run for the Raiders here in the late stages of this third set. Now arrive at set point. From the back row, Roush. Makino there, quick set in the middle. Roush just fights it off. Pirates still alive for the moment. Gashan with the set, and the Raiders do finish it out with Campisi. 25-17, they take the third set to go up 2-1. It's Ventura College Volleyball here on the VC Sports Network. And now the Raiders are set away after they drop the opening set. Come back to take sets 2 and 3. Lead it 2-1 as we get ready to start the 4th set. The Raiders come out with Washington, Byron, and LaRock in the front, with Psyche, Galstian, and Neem in the back row. Pirates with Roush, Daniels, Lishman, Lane, Raymond, and Momisar to start this 4th set. It'll be Neem to serve, with the Raiders leading it 2-1. We're underway in set 4. Roush down to get it. They'll look for Raymond, sliding left, and just wide for Raymond. Daniels. Momisar up to get it. Joust ball over to the Raiders side. Psyche all the way across to Washington, who reaches back off the block. They'll look for Raymond. Still up for a moment off the clean block from Washington. What a job by Judah Washington. And a quick start for the Raiders, and there's immediate danger for the Pirates. Down 2-1. And the Raiders, no doubt, looking to get quick control of this 4th set. Perhaps see if they can bring a little doubt into the equation for the Pirates. And the Pirates looking for a quick start. Now with some work to do, down 2-1. Psyche there. Galstian will look for Washington. 10 feet back. Lishman off the arm and out of play. Just the start the Raiders are looking for. A quick 3 points. And if you're over on the Pirates sideline, Brad Lyons, boy, you really don't want to have to burn a timeout this early in a 4th set. Just wide. Just that close, but the Pirates are on the board. That'll bring on Addison Olsen in the front, as Roush will move up front with Raymond and Olsen. Daniels ready. Galstian there to Byron. And Byron with the runner. Momentum moving forward, able to tool the block. Haley Byron. 6-foot freshman out of Simi Valley with another kill. Big swing for Roush. 4-2. Byron, one of 5 different Raiders with 5 or more kills in the first matchup between the two teams. Finished with 5 kills, but has stepped into a little bit bigger role here tonight, particularly with the absence, it would seem, of Janessa Johnson. So one of the principal attackers for the Raiders not here tonight. That position in many ways has been ably manned by Judah Washington, who stepped into a much bigger role here tonight. Off the block for Stankovic. 5-2. Raiders with the early lead, as Kalen Curry will come on to serve, replacing Byron, who checks out. And trouble on serve receive. Curry with the ace. 6-2. Pirates reeling early. And I think this somewhat similar to the second set, where the Pirates struggling here in the early stages of a set. Off the block, over for the Pirates. Ibarra. And now Daniels just has to give up a free ball for the Raiders. Washington again, well off the net, blocked initially by Olsen. Chance for the Pirates. Reaching back, Roush just tries to arc for the back line and doesn't get it. 7-2, and now Brad Lyons gonna take a timeout. Can wait no longer as the Raiders quickly out to a 5-point lead here in the fourth set, leading at 7-2 and 2-1. It's Ventura College Volleyball on the VC Sports Network. Pirates do get it back. 7-3. Breaking the run. And now Roush to serve. Washington, they'll work it across to Psyche. The dig for Roush. Looking for Cahill. Off the block of Psyche. Alfar. Now Roush from the back row. Off the block of Stankovic. Another kill for Roush. Trying to keep the Pirates in it here in this fourth set. Still down 3. But Roush putting together another big performance against the Raiders. Floats for Washington. Looking for Stankovic. Kept up by Roush. Cahill has to track that one down, but finds a good spot. Raiders scrambling, managed to get it over. Roush flying in from the back. And this one gonna go to the Raiders. I believe Roush might have stepped over the line from the back row. That call came in on the swing from Roush. Tough break for the Pirates. It looked as though Roush had managed to get that one off the block and down, but again, I believe stepped over the line on the attack. Ibarra tracks it down. Alfar, flat-footed, has to play for the back row. Washington, and the block from Cahill is just wide. That is a tough break for the Pirates, as Cahill got a solid block on it, but Washington doing just enough tooling of that block to get it wide. 9-4 in the middle, quick set for Olsen. Pirates in system, back within 4 as Lane will come in the front. Olsen will move back to serve. 9-5, Pirates looking for a run. It's getting late early for the Pirates, who are down 2-1. They'll look for Psyche. Roush with the read. Now Alfar going up the line. Curry kept it up for a moment, but Galstian couldn't keep it alive. 9-6. Pirates putting together a couple of points. They're back within 3. Olsen ready. Again, good job on serve receive. Looking for Psyche on the slide. And Lane just trying to control it. Sends it wide. That breaks the Pirate run, 10-6. LaRock on in front for the Raiders. Stankovic to serve. It'll float long. 10-7. Momasar, Raymond on for the Pirates. So Raymond, Lane, and Alfar up front. 10-7. Momasar to serve. Another good serve receive. Roush laying out for that one. Daniels will send it over. They'll look for Campisi. Off the tape and over for Psyche. Well, I think on the second touch, Psyche saw the open floor. Let's watch one more time as the Pirates scrambling, give up the free ball. And let's see here. Yeah, no, on the first touch even. It's good recognition from Dalen Psyche. 11-7. I believe they are looking at Roush again. She stayed on in the second set. They might be looking at that right arm that has been getting a lot of work. Seems hard to imagine that Josephine Roush is going to allow herself to come out. And it looks as though she's going to stay on. Trying to will her team back into this one. And while we've talked about a number of the players making the transition, and in the case of Shy Daniels, even wanting to continue with beach volleyball primarily, and the serve off of Roush out of play, 12-7. The Raider lead is 5. Josephine Roush, part of the other camp, very much focused on indoor, did play beach a year ago, but wanting to continue her volleyball career playing indoors and working toward that goal as she finishes up her sophomore season here at Ventura, and is considering the next move, but definitely wants to keep playing indoor. 12-8. Lishman to serve. First of 2 broadcasts here on the VC Sports Network. Pirate Volleyball will be back on November 5th. That's a Wednesday. Tooling the block, Campisi. 13-8. So November 5th, we're back here as the Pirates will welcome in Allen Hancock College, take on the Bulldogs. Second to last regular season match for the Pirates. 13-8. That'll be our next broadcast here on the VC Sports Network. In the middle, Raymond somehow kept up by Galstian. And Byron on the illegal touch. Well, that was some kind of job by Galstian to keep that ball up. Looked like Raymond had the clean kill. Pirates within 4. Daniels to receive. We mentioned at the top, the Raiders with a big matchup next Wednesday night. They are home to take on Santa Barbara City College. And Santa Barbara right now still undefeated in conference play in the Western State North, entering play tonight. And that will be a huge matchup. If this score holds, that's a long way from being a sure thing, but if it holds, the Raiders would move to 7-1 in conference play. It would be just a game back. The overpass from Neem Here come the Pirates on the serve of Daniels, 13-11. And the Raiders going to take a timeout here in the fourth set. The Raider lead down to 2. It's Ventura College Volleyball on the VC Sports Network. Pirates down 2, and they'll serve. And more trouble on serve receive. Daniels with a big run on serve has the Pirates back within 1. Back-to-back aces for Shy Daniels. Floating and going back to Neem. All the way back to a tie at 13. This out of a Raider timeout. Daniels continuing her assault on serve. Another ace, tied at 13. Galstian, a little trouble, and Byron well off the net. Couldn't get that one lined up. 14-13. Byron nearly back at the 10-foot line as the Raiders were once again scrambling right from serve receive. And in between Galstian and Neem, all kinds of trouble for the Raiders as Daniels on a big run on serve. And most of the damage has been done with the Daniels serve. Better pass. Big swing from Washington. Pirates still lead it after the 5-point run on serve for Shy Daniels. 3 of those points aces for Daniels. And now Galstian will serve. Natalia Galstian, freshman out of Woodland Hills. And some adversity here for the Raiders, who had had it largely their way in this fourth set before that run on the Daniels serve. They'll look for Roush. Might have mistimed the jump slightly. Byron off the block. Chance for Roush, reaching back. Gets the kill. Josephine Roush. And that goes to something that Brad Lyons talked a lot about in our conversation. Mentioned the young setters and the experienced outside hitters, middle attackers for the Pirates, and trying to get that synergy between the set and the swing. And one of the things that the Pirate hitters doing better and better as another crush ball from Washington, 16-15. But one of the things that the Pirate attackers have been doing better and better as this season has worn on is understanding when a set isn't perfect, how to make the adjustment on the fly. take a little off, try to find a more open spot on the floor, but make some adjustments on those less than perfect balls. And that was a great example moments ago from Roush on a set that was a little bit behind her, but reached back, put a little more arc on the swing, and got it down just inside the line, 17-15. Pirate lead is 2, trying to force a 5th and deciding set, diving in front of Galstian. Pirates continuing to do damage with the serve. This time, it's Josephine Roush. 18-15. Both teams still with 1 timeout remaining in the 4th set. Washington off the block of Olsen. Now Olsen in the middle. Slide from Psyche, finding the open floor. Another heady play from Dalen Psyche. Sliding right, but has the presence to see that big swath of open floor on the opposite side. 18-16 with Makino on to serve. So Makino in to the back row with Kaylin Curry. Olsen has to handle that one, gets it back off the block of Stankovic. Psyche just inside the line. Olsen will set Alfar. Alfar off the block. 19-16, or I should say that was Roush. How about Addison Olsen with the set? And now she'll serve 19-16. Floating in front, down to get its Campese. Curry on the second touch. 19-17. Still a 2-point lead for the Pirates. Stankovic on to serve. Roush will handle it. They'll look for Alfar again. Stankovic with the dig. From the back and into the net for Makino. Well, that started with a heavy ball from Jocelyn Alfar. And the Raiders forced to bring the attack from the back row. And now Monet Ramasar to serve. Roush there. Alfar kept up. Psyche off the block. Still up for Raymond. Galstian with the dig. Campese. That'll stay up for Alfar. Ramasar sets Raymond. Campese in front of Roush. Both teams with chances. It's a big point for the Raiders. Down 3 here in the late stages of this 4th set. That's a massive difference between a 4-point lead potentially for the Pirates and a 2-point lead, which it is now, as the Raiders get that point 20-18. Ramasar looking for Alfar. On the move, off the block. They switch the attack to Raymond. Daphne Raymond, who's had a fairly quiet night, but coming up with a big kill there. 21-18. And Sadie Lishman, the returning sophomore, to serve for the Pirates. Pirates down 5 early in this fourth set. This is a heck of a response. Campese with the big swing. 21-19, still work to do for the Pirates. Now Sammy Neem. On serve for the Raiders. Daniels with the up. Roush, well rested. Delivers the crush ball. 22-19. Josephine Roush got a bit of a blow in the middle of that set as the Pirates were able to work in a couple of opportunities for Raymond and Alfar. And that allows Roush to come back a little fresher for that swing, 22-19. Daniels, who had the huge run on serve, back. Washington tooling the block. Big fourth set for Judah Washington. 22-20. Natalia Galstian to serve for the Raiders. Pirates 3 points away from forcing a fifth set. Ramasar will look for Roush. Roush in a perfect spot. Back-to-back kills for Josephine Roush, 23-20. Mirau along with Ibarra on for the Pirates. And it's Valeria Ibarra out of Oxnard who will serve. Washington, the near overpass, but Psyche keeps it alive, and Stankovic pushes for the corner, 23-21. Well, you so often see it, a little bit of height from that center spot, so important. And Psyche able to keep that ball in play for the Raiders, 23-21. Mirau off the block, a chance for Washington, still up. Psyche gathers off the block, laying out, Pirates keep it alive. Set in the middle, and tooling the block, Stankovic. Raiders within one, 23-22. No timeout coming from the Pirates as Kaylin Curry will serve. They'll look for Roush. Tooling the block, Josephine Roush. Trying to carry the Pirates to a fifth set. Alfar will return on the front line for the Pirates. 24-22. Adam Black going to take his final timeout in set number 4. The Pirates a point away from a fifth set decider on the VC Sports Network. Josephine Roush will try to finish it out. Pirates looking for a fifth set. And Roush does close it out. Second ace in the set. And we are heading for a fifth and deciding set. All even at 2 sets apiece. You're watching the Pirates and the Raiders. Ventura College Volleyball here on the VC Sports Network. Both teams no strangers to a fifth set here this season. The Raiders 3-1 in 5-set matches on the season. The Pirates a perfect 2-0 in fifth sets so far this year. And the Pirates showing a lot of grit and determination out there. Again, down 2-1, trailing early in that fourth set as well. They were down 5 early in that fourth set, fought back and take the set to force a fifth set. And for this team that has been a work in progress at times this season, having to scramble, losing some players to injury, and having to work with a disconnect, for lack of a better term, with a young setting squad with some more experienced hitters. But this team that has worked so hard all season long, and Brad Lyons saying that this team has been so much fun, so proud of his team this year and the work that they have put in, and now very excited to see where they go down the stretch in this regular season, looking ahead in a very strong Western State North to an almost certain place in the postseason. And Red Lions saying, hey, we are the kind of team that you really don't want to draw in the postseason. We come from this very deep and talented Western State North Conference, and we're going to be a tough out, I think, when it gets to the postseason. And a quick 2-0 lead. The Pirates get the quick start here in the 5th set, but if experience has shown us anything tonight, there is bound to be some ebb and flow. We have seen that throughout, but Adam Black not going to waste any time. He's going to take an early timeout with his team down 2-0 early on, set 5, here on the VC Sports Network. Lishman to continue on serve. Again, for those who might not be aware of the 5th set, it's 2-15, win by 2. So an abbreviated final set. Ramasar able to keep it up. Chance for Raymond. Big swing from Daphne Raymond. And the sophomore delivers. 3-0. Pirates at the start of this critical stretch. Astonishingly, it arguably gets tougher from here, as they have the Raiders, one of the top teams you can find, 13th ranked in the most recent poll in the 3C2A. Byron well back. Ramasar with the up, back to Raymond, up the line. Paculon with the dig. Pirates back on the attack. Ramasar will look for Rausch for a swing in the 5th set, and it is just wide for Josephine Rausch. But the Pirates' next 2 matchups, at LA Mission and at Santa Barbara. Next Wednesday, they're at LA Mission, and then at Santa Barbara. Next Friday night, Rausch tooling the block. 4-1. Daniels will serve. And miscommunication. Byron off the pass, it looked like, from Neem. 5-1. Pirate lead is 4. And Neem lets that one go. Good read. 5-2. And Kaylin Curry will come on to replace Haley Byron. Curry to serve. Kept up by Ramasar. Chance for Washington off the block. Well, I'll tell you, that percentage for Washington has got to be climbing. I can scarcely remember the last time she failed to deliver on an attack. 5-3. And now it's the Pirates' turn for a misconnection. Handling the tough serve from Curry. Here come the Raiders. 3 straight, 5-4. Joust ball. Ramasar trying to keep it up off the net, but the point going to belong to the Raiders. They have come all the way back. The teams trade 5-1, or I should say 4-1 runs here early in set 5. All tied at 5. Lishman, Ramasar again trying to keep it alive. Manages to set, but sent long, 6-5. Timeout on the floor. Brad Lyons going to take his first charge timeout here in set number 5. Raiders out in front, 6-5 on the VC Sports Network. Curry on serve for the Raiders, who lead at 6-5. We're in the 5th set. Diving in front of Daniels. Lengthy run for Curry on serve. This reminiscent of the big run for Daniels for the Pirates in the previous set. 7-5. Ramasar will look for Rausch off the block. 7-6. Rausch pulls the Pirates back within 1. Ibarra and Mirau on. So it's Rausch, Olsen, and Mirau up front. And now Alfar in the back with Ibarra and Daniels. Again, they'll work on the floor. Ready to go. Just wide from Ibarra. 8-6, every point so crucial in a 5th and deciding set. And that one narrowly misses from Ibarra as the teams will change ends with the Raiders up 2. 8-6. Set the Raider lineup for you. Psyche with Stankovic. Well, let's wait and see. Get a couple of changes. So, Campisi, Psyche, and Stankovic up front, along with Paquilon in the back with Curry and Aquino. So this is the more experienced unit for the Raiders on the floor. Ibarra will look for Rausch. That'll stay up for Campisi. They'll look for Psyche off the block of Rausch. And again, last time these teams met, Dalen Psyche almost exclusively in the setter spot. Much more run here tonight. That one going to sail just long for Psyche as one of the pins. 9-7. So the teams have traded serve errors here in the last couple of minutes. Back to a 2-point margin with Roush, who had a couple of massive aces in that fourth set on serve. Paquillan will handle. Psyche reaching back. Another kill for Dalen Psyche. 10-7. Quick side out for the Raiders. Back up 5. And Akina Nash will come on to serve, replacing Stankovic. Also on Kelsey LaRock for the Raiders up front. So Nash on to serve and immediately handcuffs Daniels. What a huge moment for Akina Nash, a freshman setter from Simi Valley. Comes off the bench and delivers huge for the Raiders, who now lead it 11-7. Timeout on the floor. It's Ventura College Volleyball on the VC Sports Network. (11-7), and Akina Nash to continue on serve for the Raiders, who trailed in this one 5-1 at one point in this fifth set. In front of Daniels, back-to-back big serves from Akina Nash. 12-7. Raiders up 5, and the Pirates out of timeouts. Now in a dangerous spot. Daniels able to handle this one. And now it's Curry with the dig. Daniels tries to keep it up. Raiders creeping closer. Miro got a pretty big swing at it, but a nice job on that Raider back line. Able to earn another chance, and they took advantage. Nash to continue on serve. 3 straight for the Raiders, now just 2 points away. Looking for their 17th win on the season. And looking to stay right on the heels of Santa Barbara. And Nash has got something on that serve that is giving Shy Daniels all kinds of trouble. And to say that that's notable is a massive understatement. Shy Daniels has been outstanding on that back line all season long. In fact, at that center back spot, handling a majority of the serves. This one handled by Roush. Alfar off of Nash, who can't corral it. That keeps the Pirates alive. 14-8, but they're going to need something dramatic with Olsen to serve. They'll come on with Miro to replace Ramasar. Raiders looking to close it out. 14-8. Olsen to serve. Curry will set. It's Psyche. And Ibarra can't corral it. And the Raiders do close it out. 15-8 in the fifth set. A game effort from the Pirates, forcing a deciding fifth set. But ultimately, the Raiders hold them off. They sweep the season series, move to 17-7. They're now 7-1 in conference play as they get ready for that big matchup next Wednesday at home against Santa Barbara for the Pirates. The 3-game win streak does fall by the wayside, down to 11-8. But obviously a lot to take away from their effort here tonight as they take the Raiders to the limit, but ultimately fall in 5 sets, 15-8 in the 5th set. They will take to the road next Wednesday as they will take on LA Mission as they run through this very difficult part of the schedule. It's Mission followed by Santa Barbara. And for the Pirates, dropping to 11-8 on the season. We'll be back again on the VC Sports Network on November 5th. Pirates back at home to take on Allen Hancock. We hope you will join us then. Thanks so much for joining us. That'll wrap up our coverage here. So long, everybody. Have a great night.